Welcome to the session. In this session, I'm going to talk about the doping of silicon and formation of p-type and n-type silicon semiconductors. Doping of silicon for photovoltaics. Photovoltaic cells are solar cells. They are made with semiconductors. Most widely used semiconductor is silicon, and before using for the manufacture of photovoltaic cells, semiconductors are generally subjected to a process called doping. Doping is a process in which intentionally we introduce very small amounts of impurities into the extremely pure semiconductor. The semiconductor in pure form, it acts as intrinsic semiconductor, and by introducing very small amounts of impurities, we can greatly enhance the conducting properties of the semiconductors. So after doping the semiconductors, their conducting properties are greatly enhanced, and the materials are the impurities which are added during doping. They are called as dopants. The dopants which are used for the doping process of a semiconductor, they depend upon the type of the semiconductor which we are using for the manufacturing of photovoltaic cells. Lightly or moderately doped semiconductors, they are called as extrinsic semiconductors. In pure form semiconductors, they are called as intrinsic semiconductors. After doping, it may be lightly doping or moderately doping. The semiconductors are called as extrinsic semiconductors. Dopants are of two types: p-type dopants and n-type dopants. Addition of p-type dopants leads to formation of p-type semiconductor, and addition of n-type dopants leads to formation of n-type semiconductors. P-type and n-type semiconductors, after combining, they lead to formation of a PN junction diode, which is capable of converting solar energy or sunlight into electricity. Considering silicon, the commonly used dopants are boron, arsenic, phosphorus, and in some rare cases we use gallium also for doping. These are the commonly used dopants, and boron is the p-type dopant of choice for silicon integrated circuit production. So most widely used p-type dopant for silicon is boron, and this is widely used. The reason is its diffusion of boron is easily controllable, and it is most widely used for the doping at junction depths. We have more control if we use boron. So boron is the most widely used p-type dopant, especially for silicon. Phosphorus is the most widely used n-type dopant, especially for bulk doping of silicon wafers. And arsenic is another n-type dopant which is used for doping of junctions. As the doping with arsenic, it occurs slowly. It's the diffusion of arsenic occurs more slowly when compared to phosphorus, and so we have more control over the diffusion of arsenic, especially at the junctions. So for diffusion of junctions, we use arsenic, which is n-type dopant, and for bulk doping of silicon wafers, we use phosphorus as the n-type dopant. Let's discuss the n-type doping of silicon. The process of doping introduces an atom of another element into the silicon crystal to alter its electrical properties. So, for n-type doping, we have to add impurities which contain more valency electrons than the valency electrons present in the semiconductor. For n-type doping of silicon, we have to add elements having more valency electrons than silicon. Silicon has 4 valency electrons with which it can form 4 bonds. So for n-type doping of silicon, we have to add dopants having 5 or more valency electrons. As the silicon has 4 valency electrons, we can use phosphorus for n-type doping of silicon. Phosphorus contains 5 valency electrons. When doped with phosphorus, the phosphorus atom occupies the same place in the crystal lattice which is occupied by the silicon atom. Silicon atom can form 4 bonds. Phosphorus, it has 5 valency electrons. Out of 5, with 4 valency electrons, it can form 4 bonds. And the fifth electron, it will remain free. Fifth valency electron will remain free and it has no bonding responsibilities. When we dope more number of phosphorus atoms, will get more number of free electrons which are available in the crystal lattice. You can see in the picture, this is the doped phosphorus atom, and this is a normal silicon atom. This is a silicon atom, this is also a silicon atom, and this is also a silicon atom. So formally here we have a silicon atom, but now after doping, this is replaced by the phosphorus atom. So phosphorus atom has 5 valency electrons. With 4 valency electrons, it forms bonds with the 4 silicon atoms. And fifth electron, this is the extra non-bonded unbound electron. This is free with the bonding responsibilities, and it can freely move in the crystal. Okay, so this picture represents the donor energy levels. This is the valency band, this is the conduction band, and this is the gap between the valency band and conduction band. The donor energy levels are here. So after doping, many free electrons are available, so the donor energy levels are high here. So the phosphorus atom, after substitution, it forms 4 bonds with 4 silicon atoms, and unbonded electron which is relatively free, that will move around the crystal. In the common method of doping of silicon with the phosphorus, the top layer of the silicon, that is coated with phosphorus, and then the surface is heated. This will allow the phosphorus atoms to diffuse into the silicon, and the temperature is slowly lowered so that the rate of diffusion drops to 0. This is the common method of doping of silicon with phosphorus. Other methods are gaseous diffusion method, liquid dopant spray on process, and a technique in which phosphorus ions are driven precisely into the surface of silicon. The third method involves phosphorus ions which are driven very accurately into the surface of silicon. This is about the doping of silicon with phosphorus, which leads to the formation of n-type silicon semiconductor. Only n-type silicon cannot form the electrical field by itself. The silicon should have opposite electrical properties, then only an electrical field can be formed. Not only n-type silicon, p-type silicon also must be present. So to form p-type silicon semiconductor, p-type doping must be done. P-type doping involves the addition of impurities having valency electrons less than the valency electrons present in the semiconductor. As the silicon has 4 valency electrons, for p-type silicon semiconductor formation, the impurities or the dopants should have 3 or less than 3 valency electrons. Boron is the most widely used p-type dopant. Boron is especially introduced during the silicon processing, and that too during purification of silicon for the manufacturing of photovoltaic devices. When boron atom is introduced, it will assume a position in the crystal lattice which was previously occupied by a silicon atom. After p-doping of silicon with boron, the boron atom will substitute the silicon atom, and this leaves a hole. A hole is a bond missing an electron that is relatively free to move around the crystal. After p-type doping of silicon with boron, a hole is formed in the crystal. You can see in the picture. So this is a silicon atom, this is also a silicon atom, this is also a silicon atom, and this is also a silicon atom. So this is a boron atom. Previously here we have a silicon atom, now it was replaced by the boron atom. So this boron atom can form three bonds with three silicon atoms. So this is the first one, second one, and the third one, three bonds. And this is a hole, a bond missing an electron, and this is relatively free to move around in the crystal. So this has only one electron here. This electron is free to move around in the crystal, and this picture represents the acceptor energy levels. This is the valency band, this is the conduction band, this is the forbidden gap between the conduction band and the valency band, and here are the acceptor levels. This is about the doping of silicon for photovoltaics.